finally back with our DIY project, and today we're gonna make a beautiful black eyelet dress. So we actually finished this dress like a few months ago, but then it got pushed back all the way to today because there were so many things happening between, like Q2HAN getting sick, and also we recently traveled to Jeju Island, right? Episode 3 of DTV is gonna come up soon, so stay tuned for that. We sincerely apologize for the delay. Sorry guys. So many of you guys have been asking us what camera we use for our DTV vlog, Double Trouble vlog. So we'll reveal the answer at the end of this video, so stay tuned, and we'll also do a little bit of review of the camera for you guys. So we have been witnessing a lot of wedding going on around our area, which inspired us to create this dress. I think it's a perfect dress to wear as a wedding guest. If you prefer more of a dress down look, try a sneaker or shoes like mine and wear a simple white t-shirt beneath the dress. You'll instantly look more casual. So for this project, you'll need 2 yards of eyelet fabric, 1 yard of lining fabric, 2 jump rings, and 2 shoulder strap adjuster. And last but not least, you'll need 1 invisible zipper. So many of you guys have been asking us to go thoroughly of the tutorial scenes. So from now on, we're gonna do voiceover on every tutorial scene from 0 to 10 for you guys. So if you find this method more helpful, and if you have any other suggestion for us to improve our tutorial, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Okay, let's start. We're going to draw a rectangle shape for the skirt pattern. The length depends on your choice, but for the width, divide your waist circumference by 4 and add 8/4 inch extra. We're going to draw 3 tucks on the waist by marking the tuck notches that are 2 3/4 inch apart. Where you place a tuck is completely your choice. 1, 2, 3. Next, let's mark the center of each tuck. Draw 1/2 inch seam allowance for the waist and the side seam, and 1 inch seam allowance for the hem. To create the back skirt, duplicate the front skirt exactly the same. Then add another 1/2 inch seam allowance at the center back. Cut 2 for the back skirt. For the skirt lining, draw another rectangle but much shorter than the previous skirt pattern. Now let's draw 3 equally spaced lines for slash and spread method. When you cut the line from bottom to top, make sure to keep the tip still attached. Once you tape it down on another piece of paper, freehand draw the hem. You know the drill, give 1/2 inch seam allowance for the waist and the side seam and 1 inch for the hem, then cut 1 unfold. Duplicate the front pattern for the back pattern. Then add 1/2 inch seam allowance at the center back and cut 2. The shoulder straps are going to be 1 inch thick and 1.5 inch long for back and 19 3/4 inch long for the front, and of course cut 2 for each. Trace the blue lines of your favorite fitted non-stretch top and make sure to readjust the waist so that the measurement is equivalent to your waist divided by 4. To make an adjustment at the waist width, move the side seam either outwards or inwards to make it wider or narrower. Next, trace the blue shape into a new piece of paper. Find the apex, which basically stands for nipple. Then mark the apex at the front bodice. Draw a straight line that is 90 degrees from center front, and the line should pass through the apex. Next, starting from the apex, go straight down 90 degrees. Starting from the underarm, mark 1/3 of the armhole. Then connect that mark to the apex. When cutting the lines like so, make sure those 2 tips are still attached. Our goal here is to spread evenly between that space so that they remain parallel. We're going to spread about 1/2 inch to 1 inch, and we recommend 1/2 inch for small chest and 1 inch for large chest. Next, tape it in place, and again make sure those orange lines are parallel to each other, and then from the original apex, we're going to move 1 inch left towards the armhole. Draw another straight line that passes through the apex and 90 degrees to the center front. Ta-da! The green shape is your new bust art. To clean up the bottom waist, draw the 90-degree green line connecting the missing waist and the center front line. Whatever the amount you decide to spread, make sure you decrease the same amount on the waist so that the original waist measurement does not change. Then connect the adjusted waist to the armhole, creating a new side seam. Just to make sure, disregard the black line and the red line is your new side seam. To create the back bodice, trace the orange shape from the front bodice. Next, let's create a scallop shape at the top just like this. Then give 1/4 inch seam allowance for the scallop edges and 1/2 inch seam allowance for the side seam, waist, and center back. We're also going to create a scallop style line at the front neckline. Almost done, guys. Now give 1/4 inch seam allowance for the scallop line and 1/2 inch for the side seam and the waist. Then cut one unfold. Last but not least, for the back and front bodice lining, use the exact same front and back bodice pattern that we just created. First, you need to give a notch at the waist of the skirt according to the notch you have just drawn on the pattern. Remember those 3 notches that we created for each tux? Basically, you're marking those exact same notches on the actual fabric using the scissor. It should look something like this. Now let's create the tuck by folding the first notch to the 3rd notch. Then pin it in place. Now let's create a second tuck by again folding the first notch to the 3rd notch. You know the drill, pin it in place. Repeat the same step for the last 3rd tuck. Once you're done with 3 tucks for each back skirt, you should end up with something like these. Repeat the exact same steps for the 6 tucks at the front skirt. Then place the front and back skirt right sides together and sew the side seams. First, we need to mark the dart notches and apex at the front bodice. For the 2 dart notches, you simply need to mark them on the fabric by clipping using a scissor. Next, trace and mark the apex on the fabric using a colored pen. To actually sew the dart, draw a triangle line that connects the apex to dart notches. Then fold the triangle in half with right sides together and sew from the apex to dart notch. Once you're done, it should look like this. Place front and back bodies right sides together and sew the side seams. You should end up with something like this. Now sew the waist of the skirt to the waist of the bodice. Once you're done, flip to the wrong side and iron the waist raw edges upwards towards the bodice. And then top stitch the waist to keep the raw edges in place. Here I'm using an invisible zipper at the center back for open closure of the dress. Repeat the entire step for the lining of the dress, and the only difference from the main dress is that you do not need to sew tucks for the lining. Fold the front and back straps in half and sew it in 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once you're done, trim off the excess seam allowance. Using a spaghetti strap tool, turn them right side out. Place the right sides of the main dress facing the right side of the lining dress together. Then open the zipper and pin the center back of the lining parallel to the zipper and continue to pin it all around the circumference of the dress. You should end up with something like this. For the next step, you'll need 2 jump rings and 2 strap adjusters. Insert the back strap through the jump ring and then fold it in half. From the center back, mark 3/4 inch inward, and this is where the back strap is going to be placed. Then insert the folded back strap with jump ring between the lining and the main fabric and secure it in place by pinning it. Next, from center front, mark 3.5 inch outward. Grab the front shoulder strap and insert one end at where you have just marked 3.5 inch between the lining and main fabric. Then secure the strap in place by pinning down. Now sew all around the circumference. Trim off the excess zipper poking out at the center back. For all the curvy bumps, clip it with a scissor to release the tension. Then turn over the dress to the right side and top stitch the curvy lines to keep the shape in place. Grab the remaining center back lining and sew it in 1/2 inch from hem to the end of the zipper. Then fold the hem 1/2 inch twice and sew it in place. Again, fold 1/2 inch twice and sew it in place. Then you're done! So hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and for the answer we used Vixia Mini X from KOR. It was really hard to purchase this in Korea because it was all mostly out of stock. There was like only one left in the department store that we went. And so far we really like it. It's really light. The main reason we got this is because we want to film the vlog, but then it's so heavy to actually hold a DSLR. It's like so heavy, so it kind of demotivated us to create a vlog for you guys. So I think this was a really good investment. It was around $400 in America, so yes, it's like 40만 원. It's not that cheap, but then I think it's a really good investment if you are planning to do a lot of vlogging. So again, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we're coming up with another styling video in 2 days, so stay tuned for that, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys very soon. Bye!